Good morning. I'm Steve McClafferty at the Vermont Veterans Home, and I have the honor and privilege to interview here Airman Fred Buchanan, who's one of our residents here at the Vermont Veterans Home. Mr. Buchanan, I see you were born in Sayre, Oklahoma.
Sayre, Oklahoma, yeah.
Yeah, I was reading up oil and gas town, and then you moved to California.
Yeah, my father and mother moved out there.
What was it like growing up in California during?
Oh, it was like, all the schools and everything were all about the same.
Okay.
But I went to school in California, and what can I think?
Was it on the ocean, surfing?
No, it
No,
wasn't in
okay.
the ocean. It was back
Okay.
inside of California.
Oh, okay. Did you have any brothers or sisters?
Yeah, I had.
Or have, excuse me.
And I don't know if they were all alive or not. My sister had she's only the one girl.
Okay.
And then I had, Jack was my brother. Now I can't think.
I only have one brother, so that makes my life easy.
Yeah.
When there's multiple, I can understand.
Yeah.
Where you. Oh, did you do any sports in high school out there?
Yeah, I done sports, but not many. I went over to Korea. Well, I was just getting almost through my high school grade, and then I decided I was going to go in the service. So I went to Korea.
Oh, okay. Why did you select the Air Force?
I don't know why, I just did.
Okay.
Well, I figured, well, the one thing I did figure
Yeah.
was that being in the service alone, or not alone, but being in there, you would have more capability of getting into it with no probabilities of anything happening. And that's why I went in the service, in the Air Force. So.
Oh, good. So right after graduation
Yeah.
of high school, you joined the Air Force. Where'd you do basic training at?
Basic training.
Was that Lackland?
No, no,
Okay.
it wasn't Lackland.
Okay. I'm just trying to think of that. That's the only one, the big one I know. The outside of
Yeah, Lackland is a big base.
Yeah, I know there's Shaw Air Force Base in South Carolina.
Yeah, and there was one. Where in the heck was it? Well, I think there was one just up in Fresno, California.
Okay.
They had an air guard up there, and I think they did. Well, what I want to say, their national.
Guard?
When I, I can't think of it. Well, just putting me in that position, and it was being recognized too. But that was
Good.
just, and that was all under. Under what do I want to say? It's well,
And,
it was there. It was underneath the Air Force anyway.
okay.
So I got on in there, and I got in the service.
And what did you first do when you got into the Air Force?
What did I first do?
Yep. Besides basic and all that, but what was your training in?
Oh, see, training was everything.
Okay.
You had to be trained.
Yes.
So naturally I was trained in the Air Force, and being trained. So naturally they took us right into the Air Force,
Mm-hmm.
and we weren't stuck anywhere because of our our capability of anything. But I was what the heck was I? Well,
I remember reading an Air Force mechanic, and then it also mentioned on your discharge what we briefly just said before, the 37th Interceptor or 37th Fighter Interceptor Squadron.
Yeah, 37th Fighter Interceptor Squadron. That's the outfit I was in.
Okay. And was that the one that was in Korea, or was that stateside?
No, that didn't go to Korea with me.
Okay.
That stayed right there in Burlington.
Okay. Oh, up in Burlington, Vermont.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's how you got to the Ethan Allen.
Yeah.
Up to there. Okay.
Yeah.
So you went to Korea.
Yeah, I went to Korea.
Okay. And you said you were you were in charge of the flight line, or was that up at Ethan Allen?
That was up in Ethan Allen.
Okay. And what did you do in Korea then?
Well, we Korea was a little different because we had our own airplanes, so we just made sure somebody was taking care of that airplane all the time, and so we done the same thing. We took care of the airplanes, and identically to where we ever be, and it was quite an and in Korea it was different. Like wherever we were, we'd put 2 airplanes down at the end of the runway, and the pilot sat in that airplane all the time he was stationed. I mean, he was due to be in it.
Yep.
And then as soon as his time was up, they'd get somebody else to put in there.
Jeez. Now, I know during the war there were mainly prop planes. Were there still any prop planes in Korea, or is it all jet at that time?
They were all jets.
Okay.
We had 86s
Okay.
in Korea,
Okay.
which was a good airplane.
Oh yeah, that's I always hear about I believe it's the P-51 for during their war.
Yeah, the P-51 was the first fighter out, and it was a good fighter.
Yes.
But it was a prop job
Yes.
instead of a
A jet.
like the jet. Well, we had some of both. The Koreans had some of the P-51s,
Okay.
and we had jets over there. But the 51 was a good airplane.
How was when you were in Korea? Did you try out any of the Korean food, or is the Air Force say meat and potatoes?
No, they were just meat and potatoes.
Okay.
Oh, that Korean food is, well, it's not for me. Might be for you if you
No.
go over there.
It's just like watching the MASH TV show, and you have the was it kimchi pot, where the cabbage that
Yeah.
they put into the ground
Yeah.
and let it saturate or cook or whatever.
Yeah.
And yes.
They,
So
well, we used to put 2 airplanes every morning. We'd put 2 brand new airplanes on the runway,
oh, okay.
and the pilots would sit in them. And if we had a MiG or something come over, they'd scramble them, get them in the air.
Yes. Where in Korea were you stationed? Were you stationed near the DMZ, or were you a lot further south? Or
Let me think.
okay, not that I'm really good with Korean geography, but just
Oh, darn, I can't think of it either.
Okay.
But we used to take one of our jet fighters, or 2 of them, and put them down at the end of the runway,
Okay.
and they'd be on alert.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for if any fighters come over, we could launch those, and boy, they'd be right in the air.
Yep.
Jet fighters.
Sort of like our the B-52s, like up in North Dakota,
Yeah,
in a way.
yeah.
Ah.
But well, you look at that. Over in Korea, we were on alert all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes.
we always put 2 jet fighters down on the end of the runway, and the pilots sit in them. As long as we had them down there, we'd sit the pilot in there. We have two crew chiefs to sit with it, and they had a starting unit on the aircraft. And
Yep.
the minute they had some kind of
Warning.
a warning or something other, they'd start them up and launch them.
Ah. So how long were you in mainland Korea?
I was there for a year.
Okay. And you came back to California to the air base there where you were stationed at?
Yeah, but then they sent me to Fort Ethan Allen.
Okay, and then they, and then you were at Ethan Allen for how many years?
Oh, Christ. Quite a few years.
Okay. Is that where you mustered out at, up in Fort Ethan Allen?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just
Well, I didn't actually muster out of that Fort Ethan Allen. I went over and well, I did right off the bat. When I first got there, I went over to the flight line, and I got into there.
okay.
And one of my bosses was stationed right at Fort Ethan Allen.
Ah.
He had there was 3 little houses right at as you go in the gate at
Yep.
Fort Ethan Allen, and that's where his house was right there. And he took I don't know, then he worked over to the base where I worked.
Ah. And what did you do up at Fort Ethan Allen for the Air Force?
Well, I went right to the flight line.
Okay.
That's where my first sergeant says, "Well, you're supposed to go to the flight line."
Okay.
So I went to the flight line, and I got in there with the guys, and we started. We worked on the airplanes and everything else.
Ah. Wow.
It was quite a thing.
Yeah, I know. My nephew was stationed at Nellis Air Force Base. And
Nellis?
Yeah,
That's
in
Las Vegas.
Yep. And took an evening tour, and when he got out of work for the day, and where they keep the Thunderbirds.
Oh yeah.
You could eat off the hangar floor. It was that clean, and those planes, probably like how the ones you had, they were kept maintained meticulously because, if they need to be,
Thunderbirds,
if your jets up there at Fort Ethan Allen need to be scrambled, they, well, this one isn't working, so you had to make sure they were working.
Yeah.
If you change the oil, change the, I'll say a spark plug or whatever.
You know what happened to me one time?
What?
We had we just got our alert barns up to snuff,
Okay.
because we put some airplanes down there and everything else. Well, two radar people come down there, and they started piddling around with the jets, working on the radar and everything else. And the next thing I know, I looked out there and I see that one of the jets had rolled out of that hangar, rolled clean across the ramp, and rolled into the brush. And I says, what the hell's going on down here? So I went over and I seen the guy that was in charge of the radar. I says, what the hell is with that airplane out there? Oh, I never seen it. I says, what the hell you been doing? Blindfolded or something other? Oh boy, and I tell him, I went up and got a hold of their chief, and I told him, I says, your goddamn boys have been goofing off, and they have never done anything like this before, but they did it today. So I said, you better call them in and give them a good chewing out.
Yep.
Or I'm gonna do it.
And we're not talking the plane moved 10 feet. You know,
Yeah.
if you came out,
Well,
crossed this one, crossed that
yeah.
one, and wow. Ah.
Yeah.
So what did you like about serving in the Air Force?
Oh, I liked it in the Air Force. I was over in Korea
Yeah.
in the Air Force, and it was nice.
Okay.
It was quiet. We didn't have any noise or anything, unless we're running up a engine, a
Yeah.
jet engine or something other.
Yeah. I know I always hear the modern stories that the Air Force always has good food because they will fly it in.
Well, I don't know if they'd fly it in or not, but we always had a fairly good meal.
Yeah.
They were fairly good.
So after you got out of the military in, what was it, 56 was it? 4 years you did? 55, 56?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah. What did you do afterwards?
Well, let me see. What the heck did I do? Well, I know I went back and joined the Guard.
Okay. Was that the Guard here in Vermont or the Guard in
The Guard
California?
in Vermont.
Okay.
So I joined the Guard,
Okay.
and I went to work for them,
Oh.
and that made me a little income.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So that was pretty good.
Mid to late 50s.
Yeah.
You know, the economy was expanding like crazy.
Yeah, and I got, the worst part of it was I was working on the airplanes, and I was staying at 40th and Allen.
Oh, okay.
So, well, I stayed at 40th and Allen, and I'd go over there on a bus, take a bus over to flight line and work on the airplanes if I had to.
Okay. And how many years did you work for the Guard then?
Oh, quite a while.
Okay. And did you have a job outside of?
No,
No? Oh, so you worked straight for the National
but
Guard.
after a while, I got a job.
Okay. And what was that? What were you doing in that?
Oh, well, I think what happened was I got a job in the Air Force, and I went over to the flight line to work on the flight line
Okay.
around the airplanes.
Wow. Oh, good. And I'm going to presume you got married and had one or two, or I don't know how many kids, or?
I had two,
Okay.
I think. Let me see. That's Kevin,
Yeah.
and Stephen, 2 boys.
Ah.
And Kevin is, he's got a home down in, let me think.
Does he live locally? I think I remember seeing it here in Bennington.
Yeah, he lives down in Bennington.
Okay. Yep. Ah. Oh, good.
It's, well, I've been down there and seen him quite a few times.
Ah. Okay. Does he
But-
come visit here once in a while?
Yeah, he does,
Okay. Well,
when he
that's
gets
good.
time.
Yeah. Okay.
He's got a good job down there.
Oh, good. Any grandkids that you spoil?
Let me think. Grandkids. Damn, I can't think.
Okay. Ah. I know my dad was in the Air Force,
Yeah.
and he always made comments that along the lines of, the other branches aren't as good as the Air Force, and and of course, and the Air
Yeah,
Force,
you can say
and the Air Force puts it right in their hymn.
Yeah.
Nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force. So
Yeah. That's right.
yeah. So all said and done, would you do it all over again?
Oh, I think so. I don't know. I didn't have a bad move in my itinerary
Mm-hmm.
where I went to Korea, of course, but
Yeah.
that's nothing.
Yeah.
I was only over there for a little less than a year,
Yeah. Okay.
and then I back on the ship
Sure.
and back home.
Yeah. Yeah, I know my dad was stationed at Stewart Air Force Base down in Newburgh, New York. He was up in Truex Field up in, I think that's near Madison, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And then he was stationed at Tempelhof during the Berlin airlift. So, yeah. Air Force is a good branch.
Yeah. Oh, I enjoyed it. And I was, most of the time, when I went into an organization, I went in and I got, it seems to me they give me privileges. Like, I'd go in and I'd get a good job in there.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And even so, I went to 40th Allen.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
I got a, they told me to go up there and see this first sergeant there. So I went up and seen him. And he says, well, you can go upstairs and pick a bunk and get in it. Or not get in it, but
Yeah.
get it ready for you to come up tonight to sleep in it. All right. So I went upstairs and got a bunk. And unbeknown to me, there was a bunch of colored guys in there.
Ah.
So I just didn't pay any attention to them. I got my bed at night. I got in a bed and went to sleep.
Ah. That's
So-
good. That's how. One of these days, they'll have to bring you back up there instead of going to the casino, so you can see the new F-35s that they
Yeah,
have up there.
I'd like to see them.
I've seen videos of them, and those things they turn on a dime. So that tells me that's really a good connection between pilot and machine.
That's right.
And the machine, excuse me, being maintained by people like you, or what
Yeah.
you used to do. So,
Yeah, I remember this one. I got down there and I was up in the barracks at 40th Allen.
yeah.
And I went down there, and the first sergeant was down there, and he says, well, he says, you can go over to the flight line and find where you're supposed to work. And then, so I did. And then I found out I just go over there and work on the airplanes, that's all.
Hmm.
But anyway, my one of my colleagues, they put me in, he had been charging me
Mm-hmm.
while we're working out on the flight line and so forth. So I didn't mind that. That's where I'm supposed to work anyway. So I didn't mind it.
How many jets? How many different types of jets would you say you worked on over your
Oh,
career?
Korea?
During your career, not Korea, but I mean.
Well, in my career, I worked on, oh boy, I don't know. I worked on F-89s,
Okay.
and that was a big airplane.
Mhm.
And I worked on, let's see, the 89 was a twin engine. It's a big airplane. And then I worked on 86s. That was a good airplane.
Were they mainly fighter jets you worked on, and
Fighter jets, yeah.
and not the, excuse me, like the bombers, like the, my dad liked the B-52s personally.
That's a big airplane.
Yeah, a very big airplane.
I remember going over to Plattsburgh and
Mm-hmm.
seeing those B-52s take off out of Plattsburgh.
They sort of levitate when they take off,
Yeah.
as compared to the fighters, which zoom down and go straight up.
Oh, we used to go. We used to have to go over to Plattsburgh because somebody called in, said he was going into Plattsburgh because he had a problem with the airplane. So we went over and I run it up. And I said, "There ain't nothing wrong with this airplane."
Yeah.
I think I was pulling my leg.
Oh, jeez. So you had to go from Fort Ethan Allen across
Yeah.
Lake Champlain
Yeah,
in order to tell the guy over there.
yeah.
Yeah, I had a high school friend who flew F-18.
But if somebody of ours got in trouble, he'd go to Plattsburgh first,
Okay.
or he'd come to Burlington.
Yes.
So we'd have to go over there, get him,
Yes.
get it, run whatever's wrong with it, and fix it, and come on back home.
Wow. Well, sounds like exciting.
Yeah. Oh, them airplanes were something else.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'd, the funny part of it was that anytime you had an airplane in the air, you could say that that airplane's gonna, if he don't make it home, there's something wrong with him.
Yeah.
You better be careful because he might crash.
Yeah.
But
Hopefully they don't.
they didn't crash.
No.
We didn't have any. We didn't lose any airplanes on the runway. I mean, when we had them down on the run-up pad, we'd just make sure they're tied down good. We'd run them up. They had a little house right there, and he had a little thing, and he had a headset on. He could listen to the guy on the side of the cockpit.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Wow.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to say it was an honor and a privilege to talk with you, as always, Mr. Buchanan, sir.
Thank
you for your service.
Yeah.
And I will see you around. Like I
Okay.
said, we'll have to get you. You want to go over to Saratoga?
Saratoga.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'd like to go there. I've been down there before.
Yeah, you need to go back again. I'll have to see how we can arrange it.
Yeah.